Hey guys, Alex back with you. I got some Ohio goodies. I'm going to go over a couple of these strands with you. Finally made the drive up to the forest. Yeah, it was an okay experience. It wasn't nothing special. The bud tenders that knew absolutely nothing about terpenes. I had to educate them about terpenes and how they're used and how they can treat different elements. They were very unaware of what terpenes were and how they worked and the good that they do. It surprised the hell out of me that someone's selling weed and they shouldn't. They're trying to ask you what your ailments is, and they can't treat it if they don't know what the terpenes are, because terpenes treat a lot of the ailments. Because if you have anxiety, you might want to go with a different terpene. If you're can't sleep, you want to go with something high in myrcene, but none of that's actually being tested right now, so terpene profiles are not tested. So the first strain I'm going to go over with you today is Lemon Dosido. It is a tier 1 bud from Buckeye Relief. It's got 18.93% THCA. I don't know if we'll focus, but cureness wise, it was over cured. It's really dry. It's not good for vaping. It crackles and pops, which I mean, it had some flavor to it still, but when you over dry it, you lose a lot of the terpenes, and the terpene profile goes way down, and you're missing out on a lot of benefits from those terpenes, and kind of getting robbed from them. But smell test, it smells amazing. It smells like grapefruit, lemon, like a grapefruit lemon pill. When medicating on it, like I said, it's dry, so it's a little harsh. Still has a little bit of chemical taste. It wasn't flushed properly. But overall, it's not really that bad. The taste is somewhat there, and you get a good taste from it. Blowing it out is harsh, a little rough on the throat, a little dry and scratchy. I'd like to see a little bit of moisture in it. Just something where the bud can like stick to your fingers. There's no stickiness to this. It just falls to the ground and crumbles. And let's see, the next strain is Dreamcatcher. Sorry, I'm not very good at editing right now, but this one had the best bud out of them all. I'll see if I can get it to focus. Still doesn't look all that great. It looks like some good quality mid-grade, a little leafy. They kept quite a bit of the smaller fan leaves. It's kind of like adding extra weight to it, so they have a little bit more bulkiness to it. I kind of don't like that a lot of the small fan leaves are on there and not trimmed up very well. Hand trimming is very key in this industry. Not a lot of people like machine buds. Smell wise, very green, very mid-grade smelling. Tasted like some good clean mid-grades, a little harsh still, little chemical taste, but overall it's let's see, it's 23.35% THC. Medication or medically wise, it wasn't very beneficial to me. This one was very non-beneficial to me. And then the next one is Close Encounters. Tested at 24.41% THC and is a tier 1 as well. I think there's only one tier 2 strain out at the moment, but they didn't have it when I went up there. So this one is sweet, a little piney. Kind of tastes a little like cotton candy, and let's get a smell of it. Real earthy smelling, real green. Everything smells a little leafy to me out of this batch, and I did find some big leaves actually on some of the strands. And Stuff just you go through it quick because it's overly dry, so you can't really flip it around. The taste, it gets a couple good taste out of them when you first couple hits, but after that it just gets really harsh and not really that enjoyable to smoke. My grade for the let's see, this is the Close Encounters. I give this one like a D plus on quality. There is some variances in some of these packages where the buds are actually look completely different, like they didn't come off the same plant. So I'm guessing they're like different phenotypes of it. They tasted kind of similar. So what throws me off is one was covered in trichomes and one was not. And the lemon dosido tested at 18.93%. And there's some buds in there that look a little over that, and then there's some buds that definitely look like they're not even close to that. So, but the Close Encounters, give it like a D minus. The Dreamcatcher, which wasn't bad, it did not give me much medical quality in my ailments, but it was okay. I'd give that probably a D plus. And the Lemon Dosido, which surprisingly the best one out of them, and I had the most effectiveness. I got a lot of good effects from it for pain and anxiety. It was really good for pain and anxiety and PTSD. And the terpenes weren't too bad in it. They could have been a lot better, like I said, if they dried it out. It didn't dry it out as much. Left a little bit of moisture in it. And knocked that terpene profile up a little bit, flush it a little better. And that could be, grade A bud. Right now, I mean, some buds in there were like B minus, B, and some of them were D's and F's. But there was majority of the buds when there were actually the good buds. I only found one or two small buds that were inconsistent with the other ones. So I don't know actually what I'd overall give this. Maybe I'd give it like a C plus overall for the variety of buds in there. But definitely the medical value and the high to it was pretty good and clean. I'm surprised that Ohio did this well on their first batch. Like I said, I tried. I was gifted some Northern Lights and some ACDC from Cresco Labs from a friend, and the Northern Lights was dry and harsh and chemically tasting too. So wasn't that clean. It was actually the worst one that I've smoked actually out of all the strands that I've smoked out of the Ohio. And the ACDC wasn't bad. It was like a 1-to-1 CBD ratio, or might not even been that actually. I think it had more CBD than THC. I think it only had less than 1% of THC. So that actually had some good medical value to it. The CBD in it, CBD is always an excellent choice for pain, but I always recommend dosing it with THC as well. So a high dose of THC and a high dose of CBD. You can never go wrong with trying to fight pain or even anxiety. If it's indica, you want to make sure it's a good indica with some myrcene in it, or Lionol, which Lionol acts as a sedative and an anti-anxiety, which is a great terpene, which, like I said earlier, that they're not testing for terpenes right now. So if you're looking for specific terpenes to fight, like hunger and nausea and anxiety, something you want to make a strand that's going to make you less paranoid, or none of that's being tested at the moment, which in my opinion is not really fair to the patients, because they should know what they're buying, and the bud tenders really don't know. They shouldn't actually be recommending strands if they don't know what those terpenes are, because those terpenes are very important, and THC is too, but having the terpenes adds in that extra value and makes up the plant, and gives it a smell and taste too, because that's all they knew that terpenes were for, was they thought it was smell and taste when when they actually have some good medical benefits to it. And I hope the bud tenders at the forest do their research and get educated. They're not educated enough to be up there recommending marijuana right now. They obviously failed to me. Um, but overall, the dispensary was really clean. Of course, it's brand new. It just was built, and furniture was uncomfortable. So if you have like back pain like me, then expect to be in a little bit of pain in the waiting room if there's a wait, because furniture is very uncomfortable, which um, I didn't like. So and right as now, everything is pre-packaged. They do not have samples for you to smell, so you just have a list to go off of, and hopefully you pick some good ones. So I just basically kind of went with what each strand is the lineage of it, and some of the strands that I've tried before that's helped me out. So that's how I made my choices. And by the way, do not go to the botanist. I live 2 hours away from them. Called them, and they said they had 5 strands available, and they want to tell me which strands they had available. I was like, well, I was looking for lemon dosido. I love lemon strands, and dosido is one of my favorite strands. So I really wanted to get my hands on some lemon dosido, and they want to tell me if they had it or not. The guy said, you know, I don't want to sell out of something and you get here and be disappointed. And I was like, well, just tell me what you have, and I won't be disappointed if you sell out. That's Things happen, and especially in a market that just started, is real new to Ohio, and not efficient yet. So I was like, could you just check for me? And 2 hours is a long way to drive. It was actually like 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I still would not do it. Same answer, and frankly, came off kind of rude. So um, if you're in the business of pot, you need to be able to tell your customers what strands you have. Even though it is a new business in Ohio, it's still important that we can educate ourselves and then look these strands up online and see the medical values of them and what kind of ailments they treat. So, which is kind of unfair to the patients if you're not going to tell them what strands, and they got to drive 2 hours away, and then indicas work better for me, and indica dominant hybrids. So they wouldn't even tell me what kind of indicas they had or any of that stuff, which was really disappointing. So I'd give the botanist an F. And Forest, they were nice when greeting me, and it all went downhill when I started talking to the bud tender about terpenes and the effects of terpenes and what they do. And when I gave her a list off some of the terpenes, she had no clue what each and one of them did. She just thought it had to do with smell. So, you know, Forest has potential. There are other people that are friendly there, and they when I called them, they told me they had like 10 indicas and indica dominant hybrids. So I was like, they got my choice. And Buckeye Relief, they're actually going in the right direction. Hopefully we see prices start to change. I don't think we're going to see much in dosing changes. I think they're going to just be selling it in like the 2.83 grams. So no 3.5 gram eighths or 4 gram eighths. I don't know if this is just for the meantime or not, but it's kind of disappointing to see that with tax, most strands are about like $54. The tier 2 one is $58. I'm not sure if that's including tax, but what I paid at the Forest was about $53 and some change for each strand, and each strand was 2.83, and the only one that was really worth it was the dosido, and I mean, it's still technically not worth it, but it's when that's what all you got available to you, and the patient's got to get their medicine. The lemon dosido is so far my favorite. I've heard some bad things about Cresco Labs, people finding seeds, and some of the strands look very leafy. Buckeye Relief, they had a little bit of leaf to it, which, I mean, wasn't too bad, but there was, I don't know, it was actually kind of heavy on the leafy side. I was a little disappointed, to be honest. But overall, Buckeye Relief so far has been my favorite cultivator between Cresco Labs. So I didn't get much of a variety from Cresco Labs, but the two that I had were just not very good tasting, tasting like mid grades. Um, Seeds have been found in them, and even the tier two, which is kind of crazy because when a male plant pollinates a female plant, it tells it to quit producing THC and to produce seeds. And they are still testing it at over 28%, and it's got a few seeds in it. So my buddy's had 2 or 3 seeds in his 2.83 grams, which is uh, disappointing. But you know, if they ever allow us to grow here in Ohio, we'll have some seeds, which will probably most likely herm out and cause the same thing. But you never know. Sometimes they can be a stable pheno. But yeah, overall, a couple different phenos and these Buckeye Relief, or their lower buds not getting enough light, so you know, can't produce as much resin as the other buds. As soon as they stabilize their genetics, I think they're going to be a big name in Ohio, and I think a lot of people are going to depend on them for medicine. As long as they can learn some curing, and we'll see how they go. I mean, I'm real interested to see how well they do. Um, this taste of lemon dosido, I couldn't imagine if they got some good clean, good flushed lemon dosido and cured it right. This stuff would be amazing. So I'm excited to try it again down the road. I'm only going to try a few strands here and there just to be able to do some reviews, but so far a lot of D and F grade weed, so kind of unacceptable for Ohio patients that are really in need and need the medicine to live day by day, and prices are ridiculous again. I mean, just like with all new markets, everything's usually priced high at first, and then you'll start to see it drop. So hopefully, in less than 6 months, we see a drop. I'm curious to see what concentrates are going to cost. Everybody loves the vape pens, which right now I do not recommend vape pens. Even if you're getting them from the black market, watch out. There's a lot of dank boxes being sold on Amazon, and a lot of them coming back are testing for pesticides and mold, you know, and it's not very healthy for your immune system and lungs and just your overall health. So watch out on, even in Michigan, because they opened up more dispensaries back open again after Laura closed 70 or 80 down. They're allowing for caregivers to sell and supply the dispensaries, and I heard there's a lot of fake platinum pens out there. You can see a lot of reviews on Weed Maps. People are getting fake platinum pens at these, you know, really good dispensaries that have been running for years in Michigan, and they're selling toxic poison to people and are untested right now. Anything and everything sold in Michigan right now is untested, and it's just kind of sad because the people up there don't know what kind of medicine they're getting, and yeah, so, and then there's been a lot of tests on the pens that most of the pens come from China, the empty cartridges, and they're containing a lot more lead than what American laws and states accept. There's a certain amount that can be in the pen, but like a lot of them are over that lead content, and just be careful what you're putting in your body right now. And I mean, I guess if you have to, go with the Ohio medical marijuana if you get your card. And a lot of people have been asking me, how do I get my medical marijuana card? First off, you have to be seeing a normal physician, like a family doctor. Say you have back pain and you want to get a card for chronic pain. Well, you need to see your family doctor first, and then he'd probably recommend you to a back specialist. At that point, you go see the back specialist and see what he can do to help you treat with pain. If it's pain medicine in the meantime until you can get your medical marijuana card, so be it. You don't have to take the pain pills, but at least they'll have record of you going and seeing that doctor for your pain in your back. So you have to have a normal doctor or a specialist. You have to have been seeing them for a while. You can't just go to a medical marijuana doctor and say, my back hurts, can I get a medical marijuana card? Because that's what a lot of people seem to expect. No, you have to have been seeing a regular doctor and have documentation and medical records that you have been seeing, and then you have chronic pain, and you've talked to your doctor about that and ways to treat it. A lot of these doctors don't prescribe medical marijuana, so you have to go see a medical marijuana doctor. So there's a few I recommend. Green Health Docs. There's another one in Grandview, I believe. I'll have to get you guys the name of him. He charges like $200, and you can get your card on the visit if you bring your medical records, or he can pull your medical records, and you have one of the qualifying conditions. It is important that you do have this records of you going and seeing the doctor, because if not, you're not going to get approved from your medical marijuana doctor for the medicine. So if you got some kind of pain, or you think you have one of the 21 ailments, go to your doctor and have him check it out, and get treated in the meantime until you can, a few times until you have documentation of this illness, and then you can go see your medical marijuana doctor. So yeah, overall, again, lemon dosido, give it like a C, C+. It wasn't bad. I can't really wait to taste it until they get a stable. The Dreamcatcher, that was the greeny tasting one. Real fresh, a little mid-grade taste, mid-grade smell. And then that one is definitely an F. And the Close Encounters, yeah, that one's like a D. Doesn't look too bad overall, a little leafy, but and again, they're not giving big, huge buds out right now. Most likely for curing processes, they're trimming down the small buds and giving it a fine manicure. So big buds are getting down to little popcorn nugs, and not going to expect any big nugs right now. And yeah, so that is your first Ohio medical marijuana review. Things are not great, but they're not too bad. So we'll see where things go from here. Oh, and then also I wanted to give away some CBD, but I looked at YouTube's terms, and I don't believe I can give that away due to the YouTube terms. So I'm going to look into a water pipe and banger, and I know some glass blowers that I could possibly get one to sponsor us and toss one in. And so please like and subscribe, and then we'll have this giveaway once we get up to, I don't know, like 150, 200 followers. So please like, subscribe, and share to your friends, and let them know that there's a new channel in town, and got some really great news that'll be on here, and then be able to get some reviews of medical marijuana before a lot of people can go get it right now, because a lot of people live far away. It's small towns right now, and everyone's got to travel away. So get your reviews here, and and that way it can help influence your decision on your purchases. So again, thanks for viewing. Have a good day.